Hello and welcome. I am Giovanni Hall Art, and today we'll be playing some Master Duels. Just a quick little session, try to rank up if possible, and let's get into it. You can follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, Twitch, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Patreon for more exclusive stuff. Like and follow. Alright, let's do it. Also, I'll be listening to a podcast by Ryan Mango. Gonna continue off where I left off last time. It was a little chill session. Let's get into it.
Difficult time of grief with all of these complicated emotions, Ruby just keeps vlogging every single person in the house as they're just bursting into tears. She's filming herself crying, talking to her children about it. She never comforts Chad. She would even vlog him laying just despondent on the bed. And she says, and I don't know why, what compelled her to even say this. She says, in situations like this, if you haven't been kind,
we're gonna go to the shop. I have enough gems. I want to buy some packs. Let's see if we get some good pulls. We're looking for one effect failure. That's the card I really want. Let's go.
you can feel a lot of regret. I don't know what she's insinuating.
If you haven't been kind, you can feel a lot of regret. So is that implying that if she hasn't been kind to the deceased,
Let's go.
she would feel guilt?
It sounds like she's saying that to Chad. And I just don't...
What?
Yeah, and I don't picture Chad being rude to his friend's dad. I think it's probably the very natural feeling of, I wonder if I could have done something or said something, or maybe I could have noticed something.
I'll take that.
Right.
But it was just bizarre. Humiliation also becomes a big part of the vlogs. Ruby is holding the camera. She's standing in the bathroom and she says,
Has been asking all summer if she can shave her legs and armpits.
her daughter looks at her like she just betrayed her on camera. I never said that. I don't want to shave. You don't? No. Side note, it has been discussed on the vlogs before that this specific daughter has been getting bullied in school. And I don't know, maybe I'm connecting dots that don't exist because I have a thing where I compulsively shaved my arms for years because I got made fun of for having hair on my arms when I was younger. And I wonder if in the hypothetical world, if she had been bullied for her body hair, her mother announcing it to the world that she has been asking and begging to shave it would only encourage the bullies. Because a big part of me getting bullied about my arm hair would be to act like it didn't bother me. Because then it's like, now they know that you're insecure about it. So she's like, no, I don't want to. And even if that's not the case and I'm just crazy and I'm reaching, why put this on the internet for all of your kids' friends to see, especially as a young teenager? Like, that's a very complicated time. But Ruby, being her kid's very first bully, she says, you don't? I think your armpits need to be shaved more than your legs do. Let me see. And she just reaches into her daughter's shirt to, I guess, see her armpit hair, to touch it. I don't know what we expect at this point. Ruby announces to her vlogs every time her kids pee the bed. She proudly says the way she handles it is, aw, that's okay. Just sleep on the floor in the bathroom.
She's like, Mom, I peed the bed. Just go sleep on the floor in the bath.
There's also a lot of other humiliating titles in the 8 Passengers archive. Sherry even says that when you Google someone's name, like the next word that comes after it is typically like the most Googled. And she's saying this in a vlog. She says next to her name is always Sherry Frankie period. Because Ruby had vlogged her getting her first period. And it just seemed like she was uncomfortable. Other titles include At School, Wet My Pants, Bra Shopping with the Brothers, First Time Shaving. It's like the kids are sick and throwing up Canon or Sony. The kids are buying their first training bra. Should we use Canon or Sony? But one thing Ruby states repeatedly is that she will never discipline her kids on camera. That is reserved for off camera, which is bizarre because everything you put on camera. One bamboozled netizen writes, so she's going to film her daughter buying a training bra, but discipline is private? Do you remember that trend that was going around where you get your dog's favorite stuffed animal or like your child's favorite stuffed animal and you just beat it? I don't know why parents were filming themselves being their child's personal emotional terrorist, but it was like a trend briefly. I don't know if it was a big trend or if the trend was people reacting to the very select few weird people that did it.
Where you grab your child's favorite doll and just like punch it,
Yes, it's like
and
if
then
we
you
were
want to see
to,
the kid's reaction.
yeah, it's like if we were to grab my niece's rabbit and then just started
I never seen something like that where they're trying to feed the kid food they don't like peas and carrots. Then they'll feed the stuffed animal first. And then the stuffed animal, they'll make stuffed animal like refuse not to eat it. Then they'll slap it up and hit it up. And then it'll eat it. And then they give it to the kid and the kid just eats it because it doesn't want to get beat up. Kind of messed up.
punching the
I
rabbit in front
digress.
of her and then vlogging her reaction. It's like unhinged. I don't know why people were doing this. This is the next level of
messed up.
that. Ruby's
if you don't
youngest
eat this,
daughter
it's
is
gonna
going
happen
through
to
her
you.
scissor phase. My nieces are currently going through their scissor phase. They're told at school, you got to learn how to use safety scissors to cut shapes with scissors. You could be in the same room doing arts and crafts with them. You drop your piece of paper, you bend, pick it down, they've cut off half your hair. It's just a thing. They're safety scissors. They don't get harmed. It's not dangerous. I mean, don't leave them with it unsupervised. But again, scissor phase,
Need
very
one more
real,
of these.
very normal.
This.
Ruby's youngest daughter has taken scissors and cut a few things in the house that she probably wasn't supposed to cut. Ruby decides, instead of being like, wow, why did I leave those scissors out? That could have been dangerous. Good thing she cut that rather than harming herself accidentally, even though they're safety scissors. Ruby decides, no, the best course of action to take here is to grab the camera in one hand and shove it in this little girl's face, take her beloved stuffed cat on the other hand, hold it by the neck, and threaten her own daughter.
One more thing in my house. I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
Grandma will be so mad.
So what are you going to do?
Not real cat, right?
No, her
Okay.
stuffed animal. But like,
Trauma.
when
yeah.
they're this young,
Yeah.
that's like a real person in there. Their stuffed animals are like a good source of comfort. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like their best friend. The girl looks genuinely stressed out. She looks like she's watching a hostage video because she is. She's 4 years old. This is her best friend. And her sweet, loving, caring, family-friendly mother just threatened to decapitate it. In another since taken down vlog from 2016, there's a clip where they're all packing to go somewhere. Ruby asks one of her young daughters what she packed in her bag, and the young daughter starts crying and getting nervous because she's scared that Ruby's not going to let her take her comfort stuffy. Netizens are commenting, growing up with a narcissistic dad, I used to cry every time I was nervous around him, even if it was for nothing. I can feel the little girl's anxiety. It makes me wonder if Ruby has an explosive temper behind closed doors or something. To make matters worse, netizens point out that Ruby looks surprised and confused that this is her daughter's favorite stuffy, which is so strange. It leaves netizens to question, does she not know her kids? Does she not tuck them in at night? That doesn't even make sense. In another clip, one of the kids finally confesses that she spilled something in her backpack, and therefore she ruined her backpack. It's unsalvageable. Which, the fact that you have to confess something like that to your parents is odd. The way that she's holding her backpack while Ruby is vlogging her, she looks terrified. Her face is blurred for her privacy, but she keeps blinking and scrunching her nose, and those seem like very intense, anxious coping mechanisms for high anxiety. While her daughter is clearly in distress, Ruby says,
The camera's rolling, so I can't get that mad. It helps keep me under control.
the child starts crying, and Ruby has this weird, fake, sympathetic voice. Oh, honey, don't cry. Oh, honey, I'm not mad at you. I feel bad for you. To which the comments now read, imagine a backpack feeling like it's the end of the world. This is so sad. It's not even a big deal. A simple accident and she's terrified of her own mother. Another one reads,
Try this
her nervous
combination.
tics are heartbreaking.
Won't get down to 40.
One of the most
but we're gonna
damning
try
clips of
this.
Ruby, though, is of her in the car vlogging. She's wearing a bright yellow beanie. This is probably worse than the Chad Bed saga, or it's like right up there.
That's cool.
So all these other ones are coming out, and I think that people are making videos on them, but unless you're really in the Frankie world, I don't know if they would have hit as many people of like, did you see what's going on? Because this is alarming. Ruby is wearing a bright yellow beanie. She holds up her phone.
Hello,
I
everybody.
just got a text message from youngest daughter's teacher, and she said that she did not pack a lunch today. And can I bring over a lunch to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. And it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and I just said,
Was responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
my hope is that she will be hungry and come home and go, oh man, that was really painful being hungry all day. I will always make sure to have a lunch with me. The child in question that she's talking about is 5 years old. I don't even know a single 5-year-old that packs their own lunch. I was in high school and my mom was
5
having
years
to pack
old?
lunches. The clip
That's
was
crazy.
a huge point of contention, along with the Chad being bedless. I mean, there's something about these moms not giving their kids food, proper nutrition, and beds. Like, it's a
Yeah, come on.
prerequisite before you get put in jail. Ash Trevino needs to get advised to get her kids a bed. Regardless, I have never, ever heard of a kid being responsible for packing their lunch at that age. And like, how vicious do you have to be to state out loud that you hope your child starves and nobody helps them? Kevin and Ruby tried to justify what happened, saying the internet took them out of context once again, saying that the real
messed up
reason that
here,
Ruby did
guys.
not bring her daughter a lunch to the school is because the drive would take 45 minutes. By the time that Ruby would be there to drop off the food, the school day would be over. Nobody said that in the clip. The comments read, and this is what she's voluntarily sharing on the internet. Imagine what she's doing behind closed doors. In another vlog clip that has
Were
been
they
resurrected
right?
from
Were
the
they
depths
ever
of the
right?
YouTube graveyards, Ruby is on the phone with her second youngest. Again, probably 8 years old at the time, if not younger. She tells him,
Unless you find a friend who's willing to share some of their food with you, I don't think you're going to be able to eat. But if you're not responsible for your lunch and your lunch money, that's the natural consequence.
and I'm really sorry
She's
you're
crazy.
learning this the hard way. I will have a wonderful, yummy snack waiting for you when you get home. Just hang in there today and just make up your mind, and you're going to be really careful to grab your stuff when you go to school next time. And maybe you have a good friend who will share half their sandwich with you. That's all. I'm sorry. She hangs up and she tells the viewers while smiling, he sounds like he was going to cry or something.
Talk
In
about
another seemingly
please,
innocent but
enemies
not
and
at all
everyone
innocent vlog, Ruby is in the kitchen with her kids and she says, Sundays after church, when we all just clean through the leftovers, it's like the highlight of my week. I love it so much.
I hate this combo.
One of the kids comes up to say,
These days
it
just keep
is.
attacking
Mom doesn't
and
get mad at
summoning.
us for eating anything.
It's like the highlight of my week. I love it so much.
Mom doesn't get mad at us for eating anything.
She responds that, and the kids just open up like everyone's pretty relaxed. Probably because they're not starving. It's been a point of contention throughout the Frankie vlogs that the kids
Such a bad
never have
hand.
enough food. When she vlogs the dinner table, it's never enough food. When she vlogs her grocery hauls, it's never enough food. One comment reads, everyone's relaxed because maybe they're not fighting for survival in their own home. Every single meal that Ruby shows online is neither nutritious nor filling, and it does not appear that the kids have free access to food. The Frankies, even before all of this, the whole scandal, they had multiple instances where their own viewers were just up in arms about the fact that they kind of starved their kids. Ruby would vlog what's for
Something's
dinner,
going
or she
on
would do
here.
the grocery hauls, and
I think
there's
this
no
card
produce,
gets-
no
the
fruit,
synchro card
no
gets like a
meat.
big, powerful
Anything of
boost.
nutritional
The
value
light
in the
points are
hauls
really low
is
or
just
something.
absent. Most of it is carb-filled junk. Yet Ruby is very unhappy. She complains the entire time at how expensive each trip to the grocery store has been, which most people agree. Groceries are expensive, but she's choosing these carb-heavy, easily prepared meals that are probably selling at a premium. At this point, a lot of netizens are saying, honestly, produce might be cheaper. So why are you not getting it? One comment reads, I am a bit stunned. In Ruby's video about their food supply, she doesn't seem to feed the kids any vegetables. Maybe tomatoes in the spaghetti sauce, but she seems to feed the kids carbs all day, every day. I was a bit surprised that vegetables were not seemingly a priority for the kids. Another netizen agrees. She feeds the kids crap, all carbs, stuff to fill the belly but not provide much nutrition, very light on the meat, and almost no fruits and veg. Or another comment reads, stop moaning about buying food for your family when you're basically making money off the backs of your kids. Her grocery hauls are pretty terrible. No vegetables, maybe a small bowl of fruit, little meat, and a whole heap of snacks. She definitely carb loads her meals with very little nutrition. All I see are tacos, like frozen tacos, bread rolls, cookies. Everything is beige and cheap. Even Ruby
How's this
admits
thing
herself
attacking
that
again
she
and
does not
again?
eat enough. She says, it's really painful to up my food budget, but I think it's necessary because I have to eat more. I'm gonna eat more. I want to eat more. I don't really like being hungry. It's just very strange that Ruby has such an unrelenting grip on wanting to control the food, the budget. She wants to be perceived as the perfect mom, but she
That's
cannot hide the
annoying.
fact that she's not. There's this Korean song called, like, Oma said she doesn't like black bean noodles. It's when your mom doesn't have money, so you eat the black bean noodles. Your mom tells you she doesn't like black bean noodles, and later the singer goes and she's digging it out of the trash to eat it with rice. The leftovers. But for Ruby, the mere thought of upping the grocery budget to feed her kids would send her into cardiac arrest. And this is clearly not a case of she can't afford it. One comment reads, her nacho night was just sad. Literally just 2 trays of chips, cheese, and leftover pulled pork. Maybe it would have been good as a snack, but how about some freaking fruits or vegetables or something substantial? And I saw one of Ruby's kids cramming a whole burrito thing into her mouth like she's desperate for food. Ruby is always saying cooking is her passion and she loves making recipe videos, but it sure doesn't show. There's like a whole compilation on TikTok filled with the kids' faces, so for this video I'll likely blur most of it, but you can hear Ruby's voice and it's just her threatening them with food.
I'm only gonna say it one more time and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
In a separate clip she says, and my kids are literally starving. I hesitate to even say this because I'm gonna sound like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said I'm not even gonna let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done. Here is a very non-comprehensive list of all the times that she's threatened her kids with starvation. Stop crying or I'm gonna have you go upstairs and you won't have any breakfast. In another clip she says, I'll buy an expensive cereal and say this needs to last us a whole week and it's gone in an hour. The boundary is I don't buy cereal anymore and you get oatmeal until I believe the children.
Ooh, okay. That one was easy. And to work hard for that. Take it. We'll take it. I just get these ads because I don't get paid for these. And the copyright music always my video. Right strike.
The self-confidence of someone with such little common sense is terrifying. If your kids can eat what you think should last a week in an hour, then your portion size math is not adding up. There's a clip of Sherry, the eldest daughter, and the New York Times bestseller. She says, our lunch is a little bit different than yesterday because Mondays and Fridays are 1,900 calorie days. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are 1,700 calorie days. And then Saturday and Sunday and Wednesdays are 1,500 calorie days. And today is 1,700. Which the fact that Ruby has put out these arbitrary rotating calorie days, which by the way, none of these even provide enough calories for most active growing teenagers. It's just very sick. Many netizens are left wondering at this point, how is it even possible that she posted all these vlogs? One writes, I find it difficult to fathom the dinners Ruby gets away with serving. Recently, one of her kids complained about having chicken noodle soup for dinner again, and it seems like they had it the night before. I took a good look at the table, and it was like a modest little bowl of soup was all that was served. There weren't any dishes to indicate bread or salad to be served along with the soup. Ruby just encouraged everyone to eat so they won't have soup again for the next dinner. The whole video blew my mind. Another comment reads, my question is, how are none of the teachers reporting this? Or another reads, so abuse is being broadcasted on YouTube in broad daylight? Using food as a form of punishment literally pisses me off to no end. The irony in all of this is that Ruby prepares for the end of the world with freeze-dried food. She's obsessed with food prepping. I'm pretty impartial to doomsday prepping. What do I know about when the world is going to end? Emergency stock, highly recommend, probably advisable. An entire food storage room with freeze-dried foods, 100 pounds of rice and orange juice mixed powder. It's kind of excessive.
Like, even if an emergency did come up and you had to use the food that you freeze-dried, you already have enough. So why are you continuing? We may not need any of this food ever. Or if we do end up using it, what if it's 30 years down the road? All of this food stays good for at least 30 years.
She has all of that.
Yeah, and her kids are starving. And because I'm just on a rant here, there's another vlog clip of Ruby telling her viewers that her youngest daughter is manipulating her into letting her stay home by saying that she's sick when she's not. She makes her out to be this little vindictive girl with big evil plans of like a psyop takeover. She's a kid, she's a child. It is only when Ruby takes her temperature and realizes that she has a fever of 101 that she admits, okay, fine, she's not manipulating me. She says to the vlogs, and I could hear her whimpering and crying, and then at 4 a.m, she came in and got in bed with me, and she was just whimpering. Don't you hate it when your kid is sick and they don't have a fever until the whining starts? I just thought the whining was because she was manipulating me. Not true, I guess. She's not feeling well.
I gave Julie a tongue lashing that will not ever be repeated nor recorded. Just use your imagination. It was
just
bad.
a busted blade of blue eyes.
You have to throw up twice before I come get you.
Isn't it like 5 if it's just like a little?
If you throw up, you throw up. If you throw up twice, you call me.
All of this had somewhat been circulating online, but again, it's not until the bed saga that all of these get dug up from the YouTube graves and they start recirculating. And speaking of the bed situation, a lot of netizens have problem with Ruby's bed buying tendencies or lack thereof, very similar to Ash Trevino. She would just not get her kids the necessities when she can clearly afford to. There would be moments in the vlogs where she expected her kids to be grateful. She would demand some sort of big response in exchange for purchasing them socks. Not like new fancy socks that all the kids are wearing that they really don't need, but like their current socks all have holes in them. Other netizens back in 2016 even felt it was odd that in the videos, the kids would be gifted on their birthdays things like bedding, sheets that they desperately need. Not like, ooh, this is the new anthropology sheet that I need. They don't have sheets. Birthday present, sheets. Some people were commenting, I noticed everyone seemed to be overly excited about getting pillows, which I found was odd. Another comment reads, I think parents are supposed to provide you with a bed, sheets, pillows, etc., independent of your birthday. Same
Yeah,
goes for
Crystal
socks?
Dragon.
Question mark?
Another comment reads, the birthday presents were the last straw for me. Passing off a bed that one of her kids needed as a birthday gift is disgusting. You provide your children with a bed and bedding, period. That's not a gift. The kids were also never seen having enough clothes. They would have about 5 total outfits each. And the problem is that Ruby was obsessed with very distinct articles of clothing. So it's not like she would get a simple white shirt for her kids that you could wear maybe 3 times a week. And everybody at school thinks, oh, maybe you have 5 white shirts.
Mm-hmm.
They're like very distinct. And they would be wearing the same outfit 3-4 times a week, which is just, a lot of kids get bullied for stuff like that. One comment reads, Ruby is constantly having to wash clothes, seeing as all their kids only have about 4 full outfits. And because she's continuously washing them, they start looking like just threads on the kids' bodies. Someone agrees, writing, Ruby complains so much about the kids wearing down their clothes, and in the same breath, she mentions how they only need a few outfits. What's going on? And when the kids would get sick, Ruby, the maternal instinct just coursing through her veins, decides to quarantine the sick kid. So one of the sons was sick. I would say he looks like 5 years old. She doesn't want the other kids to get sick, which I get it, fine, right? She grabs a whole duvet set, pillows, a blanket, and she puts him in the bathroom on the floor. Okay, you know there's a regular bathroom where you have the sink and then you have the shower. Then you open a small little closet door and then you just have the toilet. That's it, just the toilet. She put him right next to the toilet in that tiny little closet room, the water closet.
Okay.
And he's sick. His whole face is red.
Why?
No, because...
Just quarantine the
Yeah.
kid in the toilet.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. I think like 2-ish years ago, I went through a very rough round of hand, foot, mouth disease, which was passed on by my little niece. Every single nail and toenail fell off. I'm not even kidding. It's a household joke now. But even now, when our 2 nieces are sick, Everyone's just trying to make them feel better. They're like bringing them the favorite soups. They sleep with my sister when they're sick because they're not feeling well, and they usually want to cuddle my sister. Ruby makes them sleep in a toilet room. But it's also the way that she's mentally raising them. One comment reads, "Those poor little girls have motherhood and subsequently being a housewife pushed on them from so early on. Save thinking about children for when you're not children yourselves. It's silly to think about that now." Another comment reads, "Oh, I rarely comment anywhere anymore, but in their newest video, I was so glad when I heard Ruby say to Sherry, 'You could be a great teacher or a lawyer or engineer, etc., etc.' But then Ruby goes on and says, 'But most importantly, a good mother.'" I realize it's important to be a good mom in their culture, their religion, and even would have just been fine to include into the list, like, and a good mom. But most importantly, it is likely that it's because Ruby got married at 18. She had her first baby at 21, and she never really had her own life. And for whatever reason, she wants the same things for her kids. She prides herself in it. In a video, she says, "I just want to tell you an experience that I had in English class, that you really can be and do anything you want. I was in an advanced English class, so everyone who was in the class was ambitious. And we had a college prep person talk to us, and we went around the room, and we had to stand up, say our name, and what we wanted to be when we grew up. And everyone that stood up said lawyer, doctor, all these wonderful, ambitious goals. And when it was my turn to stand up, I said I wanted to be a mother. And the lady said, 'That's okay. And what else do you want to be?' And I said, 'A housewife. I want to stay home.' And my teacher said, 'Ruby, I would like to see you at the end of class.' And he let me have it about how I was not being ambitious and how I was going to let my talents go and I was settling. And I think that day marked a time in my life where I said, you know what? Not only am I going to do it and show him who's who, you know, I'm going to be good at it. I'm going to be a mom and a housewife, and I'm going to be a good mom." And this is how good of a mom Ruby is. In a separate interview, she shares a story where she has no sense of self-awareness of how cruel she is. She shares every little sinister story like it's a cute, wholesome lesson. She says, "A year ago, my daughter was saying her prayers." She was 6 years old at the time. She was saying her prayers, and she said the cutest thing. I thought it was so cute, and I started laughing. She said,
Dear Heavenly Father, please help me to survive. And I thought it was so cute.
and I just thought it was so cute. It took me off guard, and I just kind of giggled a little. That's not funny. That's alarming. She's 6. She should be praying for an American Girl doll, not for basic survival. Which Chad already did in the wilderness when he went to Anasazi. He was praying for basic survival. This was, again, before the bed incident. So now
Ads hate to see me coming. Because I downloaded Pi. It's a free Chrome extension
That's
that
good
blocks
anyway.
ads on all your favorite sites. It even blocks ads that you didn't even know were ads. Imagine being able to scroll and stream completely uninterrupted. And that's not even the best part. If you opt in, Pi will give you cashback rewards for ads that you do see. And if you're still not convinced, just ask the thousands of users who love Pi. So if you're tired of constant ads, check out Pi today.
Leave no sale behind with the world's best converting checkout from Shopify. Say goodbye to abandoned carts and hello to cha-chings in every channel. When it's time to sell more, it's time for Shopify. Start your free trial today.
Now people are bringing this up again. When he was 14, he was sent to this wilderness camp. The whole Anasazi saga is a whole thing. The way that Ruby and Kevin are talking about Anasazi, you would think that for every teenager that goes into the Arizona wilderness and breaks down into tears, they get paid $1 million. The way they promote this wilderness camp is pathological. They're talking about sending him, they're dropping him off, they're clearing out his room, they're redecorating his room, they're missing him, they're picking him up, they're seeing him again, they're reacting to him being back home. It's non-stop Anasazi vlogs, which, again, this is just kind of bizarre when you really think about this is the context of a, quote, troubled teen therapy that they're sending Chad to, which is typically known to do a lot more harm than good. To which they talk about Anasazi a little strange. Kevin says, "Now you're probably wondering what the heck we're talking about. Chad today has just entered the Anasazi Foundation Wilderness Therapy Program. He's going to spend the next 8 to 10 weeks living in the desert mountains of Arizona. So you're probably wondering, what did Chad do? Okay, well, we're not even going to entertain that stuff, but it's an accumulation of things over the years. Well before we started YouTubing, or well before we got into social media, and it's reached a point where Chad needs to develop some very basic maturity and skills that he's going to need as an adult. We know later that it stemmed from him getting expelled from school, and this was a recommendation from his new therapist, Jody Hildebrandt, the Anasazi therapy program. But Ruby says in the vlog, this is like a reset, like a start over, like a do-over, a fresh beginning. Kevin says, the idea with wilderness therapy is that you can survive with these peers in the wilderness with nothing more than the clothes on your back and a couple of field supplies. Then there's nothing in this world that you can't tackle. Ruby says, they don't even sleep in tents. They sleep on the bare ground. So if the apocalypse ever comes and the zombies come to get us, we will be very grateful that Chad is trained. He's going to mature out there. He's going to have a lot of growth and a lot of time to think and really decide the quality of person he wants to become. I'm really proud of him. I'm really excited. They said it's like the real wilderness out there. There's snakes, there's bears, there's coyotes, cougars. Like it's the real deal. Kevin butts in. We want Chad to have some of those experiences. I think Close Encounters would be good for him.
And he'll come home and he'll be like, dude, I survived and there were bears. I can do anything. I'm not scared at all about that kind of stuff. What I lose sleep over is when kids start self-sabotaging their own efforts.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that really concerns me.
She's basically saying, as a mom, I'm not scared about my son confronting a bear in the wilderness. I'm scared of self-sabotage. It's like the most bizarre fear. Kevin says, bottom line, it's going to be a very long time before any of us see Chad. We'll hear from him weekly in the letters to the family. We will. We're excited to see how all of us, not just Chad, but how all of us are impacted and changed by this experience. The thing with Ruby is that she's a yapper. She's so good at talking in a way that makes it seem like she's an amazing mom, or at the very least, she's a mom trying her best. She says, Chad's on the trail, but at home, we're also going to be on a trail. We're going to be walking alongside him, and we're going to be making commitments for us to change and for us to try and become better parents for Chad and for our other kids. We've always believed in being honest with you guys. We're not into playing with your emotions because I know you guys are really invested in our family, and I feel a responsibility to be upfront with you and honest. You know, there are things that happen in your family that other people don't know about, and it's the same with our family. There are things that happen in our family and you don't know about it. So just trust us that we're doing what's best. When Chad gets back, Ruby makes Anasazi the only thing that he can talk about. She forces Chad to talk over and over about his experiences, which it doesn't appear like he had a great experience. Even if he did, I'm sure it's still a sore spot that your parents just send you to fend for yourself for months. I would feel abandoned. They not only sent him, but they paid over $10,000 to send him.
What?
Yeah. The estimates, it seems like they probably paid around like $15,000, but it could go up to like $40,000. Some parents take out loans to send their kids to these crazy camps.
Wow. How about like some vegetables?
Yeah.
Some pillows?
Yeah. Some bedding. And like maybe try talking to your kid.
Yeah.
The worst part is when Chad gets back, Ruby has this whole vlog dedicated to surprising him with his room and trying to make it homey. She covers the entire room in Anasazi memorabilia. It's like a gift shop for the therapy program. I don't know why Ruby was adamant on that. One comment reads, I find it disturbing how focused Ruby was on filling Chad's room with Anasazi reminders, when for all she knows, it could have been a really traumatic negative experience for him. He could have been so excited to come back to his home and have a proper bed, only to discover that his room has been turned into a mini Anasazi and constantly reminds him of it. It just feels like another way for her to control and brainwash him, rather than a mother who cares about her son's interests. Also, the fact that he gained 10 pounds while on this rigorous wilderness program was rubbing netizens rightfully the wrong way. He also states that when he got back, he had no clothes because, quote, when I went to Anasazi, mom got mad and threw some of my clothes on the floor, and then she just donated them all. Since then, unseen footage of Ruby filming vlogs has come out. So it seems, like I said, the family has given over 1,000 hours of unseen footage to the documentary makers. And there's some pretty terrifying stuff in the unedited footage. In one video, she's sitting at the bottom of her bed and she has the aura of a kindergarten teacher that I would not trust my hypothetical children around.
Thanks for the follow.
Polite, but
Appreciate
she
that.
seems incredibly unempathetic. There are about
Hello, how
53
are you?
Saturdays in a year. She lifts up a glass mason jar filled with marbles. This jar is holding 100 marbles. Listen, I do
Welcome to
struggle
the
with
chat.
spatial awareness, but it does look like 53 Saturdays and 53 marbles, but maybe it's 100. She repeats, this jar is holding 100.
Okay.
This jar is holding 100 marbles. Okay, so
Yes,
the
yes,
last
yeah.
tip that I have for calendaring
This has
is
something to
remembering
engage while I'm
my
doing.
last
And for me
I
too.
always ask myself on the weekend, is what I've scheduled.
Hey, I'm still recording!
Oh, you can't hear me that well? Sorry about that.
Why am I hearing all this noise?
Her husband responds from downstairs.
I don't play any other card games
It's
right
12:30
now.
and we're trying to get ready for church. That's
The only
why.
card game I play is
You see her
Yu-Gi-Oh.
turn off the
What
camera,
card games do
get
you
up,
play?
or seemingly get up, and then get back down
I
to
wanna
turn
learn
on, and she's
Pokemon
smiling
one day.
again. I am a busy mom with 6 children,
And
and I'm
magic.
always on the go. In another vlog, this is obviously something she cuts out. She's in the
Ooh,
kitchen
that sounds
talking about
interesting.
something when she just flips a switch.
Moms
Hold on,
want to learn
hold
about
on.
stuff,
What was
for
that
sure.
look for? She's talking to one of her kids. One of her kids says, "Sorry, I just got nervous."
Sounds interesting.
Don't give me a weird look. Just be
So
yourself.
what's this game called?
That is myself. Well, then change it.
Just be yourself.
That sounds appealing.
Well, then change it.
In another clip, likely to show off how happy and picture perfect Ruby is and how she is an admirable mom for, at least on camera, fulfilling her legal duties of taking care of her kids, just doing the bare minimum on camera, not even behind the scenes, but on camera. She wants all the kids to sit on the couch for a vlog, and I guess a few of them are
They have a
not
Twitch
cooperating
rival?
because they're children, and she screams at the husband, "Sit her down on the flipping couch!" This has been going on for
Okay.
years,
Oh, what's this
nonstop.
game called?
In another clip,
Wait,
Ruby
you
is
said it was
setting up
called
the Christmas
Cypress or
tree and
something,
Chad
or-
is helping her. He looks pretty miserable.
It's called
But it's not like Ruby
40
is
Files? I'm
actively
not sure if
trying
I'm
to
saying
have a
that
good
correctly.
time and bond with her son. She
Yeah,
just
send
blows
me
up
a
out of nowhere.
DM.
Chad,
I can check it
I
out.
asked you to give me a night where it's enjoyable to be with you. Chad, take that look off your face and just be happy to be with us. But I'm not. Okay, you know what then? And then the camera turns off. Chad would later say, there were times that she blew up off camera. She would spank, whip, take the belt out and whip my butt, pull down my
crazy.
pants, whip me. In another unseen vlog clip, Chad is younger in the clip and he's sitting on the couch. Ruby is plopped down right next to him.
I don't
Chad,
have a
it's your
public
turn. Do you
Discord
know
at
where
the
your name
moment.
came from?
I have to set one up. I don't have a public Discord at the moment. But I do have to make one.
Chad is nodding because he's like, I just answered, so what? I don't understand. And she says, Grandpa. So tell us who you're named after. This is like a very
But that
confusing
sounds
conversation.
interesting.
I just said, Grandpa.
I'll
then
have
you said,
to
of course
check
you
it out
know
after my
Grandpa.
stream,
So
though.
now I'm like, why are you asking me again? I'm so confused.
So I'll take note of your
She's
name and I'll look
confused.
into it for sure.
And he says, Grandpa.
Yeah, I don't
And
have
she
a
looks
public Discord.
agitated. Which Grandpa?
Which means I gotta make one soon.
Okay, we're gonna
I
try
think a
this
lot of people
again,
connect on
and you're gonna
Discord.
be a little more talkative here.
Yeah,
I'm
whisper.
talking,
Yeah,
I'm
that
answering
works
your
for sure. Yeah,
questions.
whisper.
She's silent for a moment, and the camera doesn't pick it up too well, but clearly there's someone talking or
We're
hanging
gonna try
out
this
in a
deck
nearby
build.
room.
Save and return.
Hey, if I hear one more word, get out!
Then you hear Kevin's voice off camera saying, "Get out and close the door." Ruby is
Let's try
looking
this
at her
here.
kids with such disdain and disgust, and she turns to Chad. If I'm going to let you vlog, I don't. And I'm going to spend all my time helping you. You're going to help me too. I don't know what to do. Be excited to tell them where your name came from, even if you have to fake it. Fake
Woman is
being
crazy.
happy.
I'm Pierre Polyev. I'll axe the sales
This
tax on new
woman
homes
is
to save you up to
crazy.
50 grand.
Crazy. Alright, let's go. No free ads.
I don't know if I can right
Is
now.
this a bad hand?
I don't know why. It's just, okay, well, I'm going to take a break.
Alright, we'll do our best.
In another clip, she's sitting in front of the camera. They're perfect for Easter. No, you are not entitled to talk while I'm recording. Sit back up there and be quiet. Go downstairs now, both of you.
What's wrong with this woman?
It's just like... By far, one of the more alarming unedited clips to come out is Ruby is sitting at the dining table, shoving her ring into the camera. I imagine it's a new ring that she got a gift from Kevin. I don't know. Kevin is holding the camera. And Ruby's little daughter is trying to climb up onto the kitchen table, Maybe she's trying to grab food. Maybe she's trying to grab a
Not
snack.
wrong.
Maybe she just wants attention. Or maybe she's just 4. Ruby reaches over, puts one hand on the back of the little girl's neck, the other hand to cover her mouth, but it's also covering her nose because she's 4 and Ruby's an adult. And by the force of grabbing her head, she forces her off the table and just yanks her down. And she tells Kevin, we're gonna cut that out. You get down and be quiet. It isn't your turn to talk. Now sit.
That's crazy.
We're gonna cut that out. You get down and you be quiet. This isn't your turn. Now sit.
To the 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Seriously?
And then Kevin just puts 2 fingers up in front of the lens, like, now cut, like scissors.
Yeah, we're cutting that out.
One netizen comment reads, what I hate most about this is the smiles and laughter and bonding in the vlogs. I hate it because it's manufactured, manipulated, and fake. These kids were miserable. And I hate that I found myself wanting to smile at the family's interactions at certain points because they seemed like a normal, albeit strict household. That's the guise of evil this woman gave to everyone. She smiled and laughed while the kids were suffering, and we didn't even know it until it was too late. So while all of this new footage is being drawn up, Chad says he remembers that they got this very expensive attorney and PR person involved, and they suggested to Ruby that she apologize for all of these instances. Kevin says Ruby's response to that was, over my dead body. I'm not sorry. I'm saving my family. We're going to show the world what real parenting looks like. We're going to show the world what it's like to make impossibly tough decisions because you love your child.
Wow. She said apologize over my dead body.
Yeah. This is when Ruby Frankie goes off the deep end. Ruby's entire reaction to everything is, you think I'm bad? Let me show you how bad I can be. Her parenting style very quickly goes from call CPS to like, I think we need SWAT teams. Like, this is becoming extremely fanatic religion. It's not even LDS faith anymore. It's just her religious views are going straight past normal faith to just full-blown extremist. It's not the same religion anymore. She's using it to exert power in the name of faith. She becomes obsessed with God and vlogging about God. She says, this is literally the way that God intended our children to be raised up. This is what happens when things go awry. It brings us back to home base, which is, I'm a child of God. I am at the center. That is where I am centered. And so I've been brought back to base. And I decided that I was going to have more prayers to get through the day because I feel like I've been working really hard. She starts offering up advice to other moms.
You know that I am teaching another parenting class, so we just wrap.
Yeah. She starts making like full dedicated videos to offer up advice. And in one clip she says, what I say is often really difficult for people to hear. And what I'm suggesting is that your woke child is a walking zombie. And you have the opportunity to wake that zombie up. But we are beyond Band-Aids. We are beyond putting a little bit of ointment on the wounds. We are beyond that.
This woman's
the
crazy.
title of the advice video is aggressively titled, Your Woke Child is a Walking Zombie. I think it perplexed a lot of netizens because it seemed like in the beginning there was some traction of like, let's call CPS. She's reacting negatively to this, so maybe CPS is on her. Maybe they're calling her. Maybe they're visiting her home, which they did briefly. But then now with this sudden shift, netizens feel more alarmed. They're commenting, she's giving culty vibes. Gonna see Ruby on a true crime podcast. Wow, Ruby has completely gone off the rails. How has it come to this? What is this? You've gone off the deep end, Ruby. What is happening? I feel sick. Those poor kids. Who would ever take advice from this controlling woman? And people start freaking out. Neighbors also notice that there were changes in the kids. They say around this point, the kids had been pretty bubbly up until this, but now they were very withdrawn and very seldomly seen out of the house. It almost seemed like there was no joy. One neighbor says, we don't know what was wrong, but there was something wrong. And then Ruby Frankie and Charlie D'Amelio clash.
What?
Maybe not directly, but their whole worlds kind of clash. Ruby is vlogging in the car and she looks very distraught. She explains that at the middle school where her daughter goes, the school organized this flash mob dance where the students would learn and perform a TikTok dance. Ruby says she thought, TikTok dance? Well, what are the dance moves? Well, what songs are in this? She says her daughter told her one of the songs, and she says, quote, and I looked it up. I looked up at the lyrics, and it was straight up hardcore.
It is straight up hardcore. Straight up.
I was reading the lyrics quietly to myself as I was scrolling. It's all lustful. It's all suggestive. It's all seductive. It's all perverse. Nobody wants to look out for these kids. The teacher is being very selfish because she wants to be hip, up to date, cool, doing TikToks, entertaining the school. She wants to be liked by these teens that are 12 and 13. So I'm going to go into that school. I don't have an appointment, but I will sit in the office until I am seen.
One more.
She vlogs about how she spoke with the assistant principal, and they told her that they will relay the message to the principal and that maybe she can come in tomorrow to speak. It's hard to gauge at this point without knowing what song she's so incensed over. But knowing what we know so far, I'm not very inclined to ever take her side on anything. The next vlog opens with her storming out of the school. She's spontaneously bursting into tears like an angry toddler that's not getting her. I am so upset. I'm so angry I could scream.
I'm so angry. I could scream.
She gets into the car and she's like sniffling, sobbing. It's an inappropriately strong reaction. We sat down and I said, I have concerns about the TikTok dances. I said, my problem is the choice of songs. And she said, well, all the songs were approved by me. And I said, okay, so you approved this song that has all these lyrics in it? She says, well, we're not singing and we're not dancing to those lyrics. It's just a portion of the song. She mentioned how the principal was talking about a grocery chain that recently used it in one of their commercials. Like a big, imagine Ralph's or Kroger. Like you would think that it's family friendly then. You know, and obviously netizens were able to figure out what song had Ruby in tears, so distraught. It's Low by Flo Rida. Shadi got them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, Shadi got low. But in the grocery store chain commercial, they just keep replaying low, low, low. Because I guess like maybe discounts or something. Yeah. So I think that's the part that they were going to play at the school. Which, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much worse that a 12-year-old could be exposed to. Like starvation, not having a bed, a wilderness therapy camp. But Ruby decides this is the hill that she's going to die on. She cries that the principal told her, well, that's moral for you. And it's not going to be moral for other parents, you know? And I said, it's what's moral according to God. The principal explains that they're basically just using the low, low, low part, but Ruby is upset. Do you understand that you're compartmentalizing? You're taking an immoral song, but you're saying you're only going to take this section of it. They offer to not let Ruby's daughter participate, but Ruby doubles down. She says she told them, you're missing...
Okay. Let's get this down. If they offer that daughter cannot participate, or she doesn't have to, that's where you end it. You're not in control of everyone else's kids. And right now, I don't think the song, obviously the rest of the song is whatever she said, but they're using a portion of the song and is really not up to her to make those big decisions for everyone else. If other parents are upset, they can pull their kids out. I don't think she has the right to control everything. I feel just had to learn that if you don't want your kids doing something, that's totally fine, and that's your right. But you don't get to speak for everyone else's kids. And I'm pretty sure if it was really a big issue, other parents would have joined her on it. Like if it was, for example, a very explicit song and the moves were very explicit, I'm pretty sure a lot of parents would jump on it too. And that's their right. But I think she's blown this one out of proportion. Anyways, the dueling was not so great today. I got destroyed. I got to work on my deck some more. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next stream. I'm Giovanni Hall Art. You can follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon for more exclusive stuff. Hope you guys have a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna come back and refresh my deck. It needs some help. Or it's just getting harder the more higher the ranks I go. Alright, see you guys on the next one. Bye.